Alrighty, so I've watched the whole entire Twisted Metal show, which is something that I didn't expect myself to look forward to. But I have played most of the games like I say in those other videos. So once I heard the Twisted Metal show was coming to Peacock, I wasn't sure what to how to feel about it. But then I heard Samoa Joe was going to play as Sweet Tooth, which gained my interest because I thought his voice would fit perfectly for the character. But it turns out he didn't play as the character and voice, but he did physically play as him in terms of like live action. But despite my disappointment of him not voicing the character and the other guy voicing him instead, I still don't think neither men did a bad job as him. So yeah, I watched the 10 episodes and I thought they were pretty well. There was not a single thing, well I want to say 5% of things that got me to switch the phone or whatever, or at least fast forward the thing for like non-interesting moments in there. But most of the everything that I see in these episodes gained my interest. Each episode, the characters have like their own backstory, and especially Sweet Tooth. And I'm not kidding when I say this. Everyone that you probably would see has their own backstory in the show, just like the game. Now, here's the thing where people were getting wrong immediately when I was looking in the comments section. Someone stated that it's nothing like the game. That's not even true. I'm going to say why right here. Because, like I stated, each character has their own backstory. Sweet Tooth I thought they did great with. Mainly because he still retains his psychopathic ways of just murdering so many people, just like he did in the video games. And yes, his machete is there if asking. Now, I'll just say this too before anyone says anything. Now, some people might complain that his head wasn't on fire. Well, let me just say something. His head wasn't always on fire. Like, there were different designs of him. Like, he had like green hair, and the other one had like his hair look like it's fire. But those are the examples I want to choose, just so we clear things up as well. So, I'm going to try to say things how I feel about the show and whatever, but the plot line is that the main character happens to be Roadkill, the Twisted Metal Black version of Roadkill. Not the Marcus Kane one, and not the Captain Spears one. The one from Twisted Metal Black, as he's the main character of the show. And just like the Twisted Metal Black video game, he's trying to figure out who he is, which is something they've actually nailed with. They show some flashbacks in some sort of parts, but whatever. And the plot is like, the person that owns the city is willing to let him live there as a citizen if he completes a task within 10 days. So that's it. So anyhow, that's the whole plot line right there. But you will be seeing familiar characters like Outlaw and Sweet Tooth, like I've talked about before. And so many different characters you may actually recognize. Some characters may not be there yet, but we'll have to wait and see what happens soon enough. But I do want to talk about Sweet Tooth, is that he ain't just alone. Like, his uniform and whatever still retains from Black, except the mask is now slightly changed a little bit, because originally he had like, it only showed him one eye, but he only got two eyes in that one. But maybe the one eye being off will come to play at some sort of future. But that could be just me. Well, whatever. Anyhow, his friend Harold is here. What? So yeah, Harold. You know, the paper bag. Alright, let me just break it down for those who don't know. Harold was originally a friend, just an imaginary friend of Sweet Tooth. You can see him in the lost ending of Twisted Metal, 1. Twisted Metal 1, where he actually has the Harold bag, but you don't know that because there was no full motion video on that one, which was cut because of poor video quality. I find it as a terrible excuse, considering I've seen other games have terrible quality and that they still release them anyhow, but whatever. If you guys want to watch those videos, you can either go watch it on YouTube, or you can just look at it in a Twisted Metal Head-On Extra Twisted Edition for the PS2, which does contain that. Yeah, he wishes his friend Harold or whatever, and it was a paper bag. But that paper bag might be something inside. So yeah, I think I just I just broke that down just in case anyone doesn't know who that is. I mean, you don't see him until episode 2. So anyhow, Harold is everywhere. He tells him that he's in charge of the thing, whatever, it's funny. And then people just look at it like, why'd you kill people, Harold? Just sit there. Like, people are comparing him to Plank. I'm not kidding you. I see comments saying that they call him Plank from Ed and Eddie. I think that's relatable. But yeah, besides the point of Harold, I still think that Sweet Tooth is like the highlight of the show. I was very interested in trying to see what they were going to do with Sweet Tooth. And they got his truck right, they got everything right with when it comes to the missiles and whatever. Especially that laugh. Yeah, the one that used a special and it laughs when you launch missiles. Yeah, that one. You know what I'm talking about. Let's talk about Outlaw for a minute. Now, I think there has been a few different variations of Outlaw, but this one is a mall cop wannabe. Well, it's a mall cop, but he thinks he's the cop, like a real natural cop. But whatever. So, just like Black, he actually gets angry because people make fun of him or whatever. But out of anger, he just kills everyone on sight. I mean, hey, he did in Black as well. But Black was a different variation of that one. That one was a SWAT unit who was a sniper, and he was trying to stop the bad guys, but ended up killing everybody in sight. You know, speaking of which, if you guys caught on with that teddy bear in Twisted Metal Black, it does make an appearance on the show. Yeah, the teddy bear. That thing's gonna haunt him. There's even that church guy who's also from Black. He's crazy, and he has a cult. Yeah, he's got a cult who hangs people upside down. That one was, I mean, okay. The guy who portrayed him was actually pretty funny, which I would just say that. I forget the phrase that he chose when it comes to telling people things about that buy across to get him off when he's dead or whatever like that, but it was just funny. But yeah, there were a bunch of moments in the show that kept me laughing. But there were also serious moments during the show, like John trying to save a car. And because that was the very thing he had when he was a little child, which also shows a backstory. You know what, speaking of stuff, there was an Easter egg that I caught on with the show immediately when it came to episode 1. There was a long box Twisted Metal 1 copy of the game. That was funny. I actually thought acknowledging the game's existence was good. Now, for the vehicles itself, they are pretty much on par with the game itself, like Twister, who has the Formula 1 vehicle, Roadkill has the, you know, that car. Sweet Tooth's vehicle is the ice cream truck and looks pretty accurate to the game. There was also Darkseid truck, but it wasn't Darkseid, as you guys think of this. But yeah, I should mention there is vehicle combat in the show, which you'll see towards most of the end of the season. But at the beginning, there was one in the mall, which was the one where the Twisted Metal long box game was shown. But I thought that was funny. But really, John is the, well, Roadkill I should say, is the milkman, so he's just going around doing deliveries. That's kind of like a whole main play. He's delivering stuff as the milkman, and he's just gotta go do his thing, so he can become a citizen of a very city he was having a dream to be in. But yeah, towards the end of the season, it's like most of the combat is basically Twisted Metal. Missiles, gunfire, turrets, you name it, and a bunch of explosions. Yeah, you can't have Twisted Metal without explosions. You could probably say it's overused, but it's Twisted Metal. There's gonna be of course there's gonna be a bunch of explosions. It's not like it's gonna be on slow motion or anything, which is not. But I should mention too that Mike and Stu guys were pretty funny too. It's like Stu was with the Sweet Stu. He was like, I found Mike and Ike. He's freaking, that was freaking funny, and freaking Sweet Stu was like, oh, I'm Skills guy. But yeah, more of the episodes I watched, the more I was like interested in. So it just kept me going for most part of the show, and I haven't really seen any misses that often of the show. And Rotten Tomatoes even gave the show like a 66%, and the audience gave it like a 91%, which I think it shows that the audience loved the show. despite certain people on the internet of what they think about it. Yeah, I don't think they're fans of the show anyhow, or at least just games in general, despite them claiming that they are when they're not. Okay, I don't know if this is going too long or not, but I'm going to try to wrap it up if I can here. So, towards the end of the show, which it's going to contain it's going to contain major spoilers here, alright? So, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, so you might as well just either skip to a certain timeline, or you might as well just, like, exit the video altogether, but whatever. Anyhow, it was said that Callisto is running a tournament now to grant wish, thus teasing at Season 2, because the person that owned the city set up Roadkill. Yep, they set them up. Now they're teasing Season 2. But we don't know when Season 2 is going to happen due to the actor strike, so it's just because of the payment or whatever. I don't even know. I don't even keep up with movies, acting, whatever the case it may be. Okay. I'm just gonna say, just do your own research on the subject in case you guys are curious about that. I'm not gonna sit here and run the whole thing, a marathon about that thing, regardless. But yeah, overall, I think the show itself, well, this was one of very few game adaptations of a TV show or movie that got me interested. Like, I don't know. When's the last time I was even interested in watching a game, movie, show, whatever it was? I know at one point I was watching an Assassin's Creed movie, which I thought was decent, but I felt like they got the animus wrong. So, overall, I think I recommend the show. The only way you're going to have to watch it for the time being is on Peacock. So, yeah. Peacock is the only way to get it. You can watch it on multiple platforms. Well, for right now, if you guys are a Linux user, then you ain't gonna have it. So, yeah, that's sad. So, try to find your own platform. Search up to see what's compatible with the Peacock, and then you move forward there. If you guys have Roku, then you can watch it there too. But most of all, like I was saying before, like, I've never really watched a Peacock exclusive original, but this was one that got me interested somehow. The trailers made it up too, it seems. Some people were mixed on this because they weren't sure how to feel about this. They always say, don't judge a book by its cover, and then once you watch it, then you grow to love it. But I still think they nailed Sweet Tooth pretty well in terms of his backstory and his funny gags. Sweet Tooth was the most hilarious ones I just want to stop laughing about. But yeah, overall, I recommend the show. So, all I can say is, like, get Peacock, whatever, and then everything will be fine. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. So, if you guys are thinking about watching the show, go ahead. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Maybe I might do more of some of these things, depending on how I feel about it, that is. But, overall, get some friends, watch it, but, hey, don't let children watch it, alright? It's an M-rated franchise, alright? And the show is still rated M. So, yeah, just like the games. Well, there were a few exceptions, but still, whatever. Hope you guys enjoy the show.